Hi, Nicole. Good afternoon.
Hi, Miss. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Hi.
That's great to know, right? Okay, so we're going to start with today's classes.
Okay.
So could you, sorry?
It's okay, Miss.
Okay. So, so we're gonna continue. So yesterday we started in past perfect. I guess we stopped in past perfect, didn't we?
Infinitive after adjective and nouns.
Oh, that's great. So yes, I'm gonna assign you the homework then because we finished the module B. Now we're gonna continue with module C, right?
Okay.
For each module, we have 3 lessons, right? So this week, in this week, we've learned the future conditional, past perfect, and infinitives after adjective nouns, and you're gonna have the quiz, right? If you're gonna, or if for a reason, you're gonna see this the homework, not the homework, the quiz twice. Just do it once, right? The due date is gonna be until Tuesday, 27th. Oh no, Wednesday, Friday, okay. Yes, it's gonna be until Wednesday, right? At midnight. So you're gonna
Until when, Miss?
Wednesday, 28th.
Of the other week.
Yes.
Okay.
Of the next week, right? You're gonna have until midnight to complete. For the quiz, you're gonna have an hour, right? A person is gonna grade you the capitalization and the punctuation. At the end of each exercise, you're gonna have a model answer. In case you failed one of the exercises, you're gonna have a model answer, and this is gonna explain you. It's gonna be about what could be the correct option and the reason of it, right? So
Okay.
it is already assigned. Okay, so so maybe it's gonna appear you during the day, right? Through the day.
Right.
So okay, now we're gonna continue with B4, right? We're still in module B, right? This is the last lesson. Well, the last it's not a model, it's like the last part of this model. Then we're gonna continue with model C. It means that we're gonna continue with the other course, right? So okay, today's lesson, it's about future in the past, right? We already know how to use the verb to be, right? Those basic lessons are gonna help us in order to understand the new lessons that we're gonna find it, right? So this is very easy, right? This lesson is short. So once you can see my screen, please let me know.
I can see your screen, Miss.
That's great. So let's start with the first subject.
Hi. Guess what I did last night? I was going to stay home and watch TV, but I went to a soccer game instead. Was going to is an example of the future in the past. Let's learn about this form.
All right. I was going to stay home, right? So we have to know the verb to be, as I told you. In the past, the verb to be is was. Oh, yes, was and were. So we have to was and were. I was, right? So in this case, it's similar, but in the past, right? First of all, we're gonna learn the uses of the future in the past. we have two uses approximately to talk about this time. It's not a new, yes, it could be a new time tense, but not at all, because we already seen the verb, the be going to, right? But the difference is that this lesson is in the past, right? So let's learn the first one.
We use the future in the past to talk about future plans that we made in the past.
I was just going to call you.
This means that Tony had planned to call Talia.
All right, this is very short, right? The first use of the future in the past is to talk about future plans that we made in the past, right? So I had a plan, right? It was a future plan, okay? And we actually made it, right? I was just going to call you, right? What does it mean? Tony had a plan, right? Maybe yesterday, right? But we're gonna suppose that we're in yesterday, right? Or something like that. But in the moment, I'm talking in the moment. I'm talking about the moment. So the plan is that Tony is going to call you, right? So I was just going to call you. I was just going to call you. It was a plan, right? So we have two options, right? The first one is that maybe the plan happened, and the second one is that the plan didn't happen. So most of the time, the most common use about future in the past is to talk about those things that we had a plan, I had a plan, but it didn't happen, right? For many reasons, but finally didn't happen. So my plan now, it is not necessarily like that, right? It never happened. So let's continue with, that's what I'm talking, the words where we're gonna find in point number 2. So let's listen the audio.
Most of the time, we use the future in the past to talk about planned events that didn't happen. In the example, Talia had planned to check that the recording function on her app was on, but she didn't do it.
Okay. So we were supposed to have an example, but something happened, right? I don't know what. Okay. So let's listen this audio. Sorry. Let's continue with this point. It is the second use of the future in the past. As I told you, sometimes we have plans for the future, but for many reasons, the plan couldn't happen, right? I was just going to call you, could be that example. We're gonna take it. For example, we're gonna suppose my plan is that I'm going to travel today at 5 p.m., right? Okay, so now it's 5 p.m., right? But it's raining outside, so all the planes or the schedule were canceled, right? As a result, I couldn't travel, so I'm gonna postpone my travel, and then, right? Okay, so this was a plan, and I'm gonna express, right? It could be I was going to travel, but it was raining, and the airport is closed, right? For example, let's suppose that. So it was a plan that I had, right, in the future, right? But for some reason, it couldn't happen. This is the principal use of the future in the past, right? So that could be our 2 uses. Do you have any question, maybe? Nicole?
Me.
Nicole, are you there?
Miss.
Oh, now I can listen to you. Is
Miss.
everything okay? Can you listen to me?
Miss.
Nicole? Nicole, can you listen to me? I can't listen to you. Hello?
Miss, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. How about you?
Me too.
Is everything okay?
Yes, I have internet problems.
Yes, I noticed that. Right. Okay. So my question was, do you have any question about the lesson?
No,
And the
it's okay.
All right, that's great. So we're gonna continue, and this is the last part, right? This is the last point. Let's continue with point number 3.
We form the future in the past with was or were, plus going to, plus the base form of the verb.
Tony was going to listen to the recording.
Amy and John, we're going to listen too.
Okay. Let's continue, and this is about the structure, right? As I told you, because of the name's lesson, we have was and were, right? You have the option to use was or were plus be going to. Well, it is actually be going to in the past, the be in the past, right? Oh, and going to plus the base form of the verb. We actually know that when we're gonna use the going to, the following verb needs to be in its base form. Not always, right? We have some exceptions, but we're gonna look for it forward. Don't worry. Tony was going to listen to the recording, right? Was going to listen to the recording. It was a plan that Tony had for the future, but for some reason it couldn't happen. It didn't happen. Amy and John were going to listen to. Again, it was a plan. For some reason, for any reason, it couldn't happen. So again, to talk about those plans, we sometimes make plans for the future, but for some reasons, it couldn't be completed, right? So I'm gonna use this sentence. I was going to be a doctor, but I realized that it was not the career I wanted, right? Or I was going to run, but it's raining, right? But it started raining. I was going to be on La Paz, in La Paz, in order to hang out with my family. I was going to travel to La Paz, or I was going to be in La Paz, but because I don't have time and I couldn't get the tickets, I'm not gonna do it, right? So as you can see, this is very easy to use, right? It's be going to, but in the past. So that will be everything for the lesson, about the lesson. Do you have any question maybe?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, that's great. So let's continue with the first practice. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Once you can see it, please let me know. All right. Can you see it?
Yes, Miss.
All right, can you please read the instruction?
Okay. Read read each sentence, click on the box, and choose the correct answer. Talia and Nick went to college together. They were in the same English class. In college, Nick was going to ask to Talia out, but he never did. Tony was going to give John the Crawford a story, but he gave it to Talia instead. Talia was going to call Jackie, but she went to see her instead. Tony Tony was going to hear the story about Nick, but he decided to wait. He wanted to talk to Talia first. Tony and John were going to have dinner at Valentina's one night, but they couldn't get a reservation.
That's great. So let's submit and yes, it was great. As I told you, but it was easy, right? Congrats. You've got 6 out of 6. So, do you have any question about the lesson?
No, miss.
All right,
It
that's
was
great.
simple.
Yes, it was simple because we actually know how to use the going to. So the only difference was the time tense it was in the past. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So now we're gonna continue with the second lesson, right? So once you can see my screen, please let me know.
I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. Could you please give me a minute? I'm gonna bring me some water, right?
Okay.
Right? All right, I'm back. So the second lesson, well, in the last lesson that we're gonna see today is the passive causative. All right, this is something interesting, right? Because of the structure, but it's simple, right? It's not that difficult. So let's listen the audio.
Hello. Next weekend, I'm gonna have my apartment painted. I don't have time to paint it myself, so I hired someone to do it for me. Have my apartment painted is an example of the passive causative. Let's learn about this form.
Okay, I have my apartment painted. It's an example of the lesson, the passive causative, right? Let's listen the first point, and we're gonna see in what cases can we use this lesson, right? Sometimes we require for some services, right? For example, the hair, I need someone to paint my car, right? I can't do some things, right? Like repair my car, and then for it, we have this lesson to talk about services that another person does for us, or maybe a group of people does for us. But everything, take care, everything, it's about services. Everything is about, not always, right? But everything is about something that someone does for us, right? So let's listen the out.
We use the passive causative to talk about services that another person does for us.
I had Nick framed so that he looked guilty.
This means that Dean asked his sister Jackie to make Nick look guilty of taking a bribe. He didn't pretend to be from Kick's shoes himself.
Okay, so let's continue. As I told you, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. My dog, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so to talk about those services, we sometimes require services, right? But this lesson is about a service that another person does for us. I have Nick framed so that he looked guilty. So I have Nick framed so that he looked guilty, right? It means that Dean asked his sister, this is about the video, right? I'm trying to get the context because I didn't watch the video. As I told you, it's like a series, like a novel. So I didn't watch it. So made me look guilty of taking the bribe. He didn't pretend to be. No, I don't get it. To tell the truth, I don't get this example, right? So we're gonna continue with this example. I'm gonna show you more, so don't worry, right? So yes, we're gonna focus on the definition, right? We're gonna use the passive causative. It's a new time tense, right? To talk about services that another person does for us. That's all what you have to know. We actually have another use of this passive causative, and it is like cause something else to happen, right? So let's continue with the second point.
We can also use the passive causative to talk about something that causes something else to happen. We usually use get and not have for this meaning. This is the recording that will get Nick reinstated.
Okay, what happened? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's person or if it's I guess it's person, right? Because the other example of the other lesson, we couldn't see it, right? It doesn't appear. So okay, we're gonna continue.
This is the recording that will get Nick reinstated.
Okay, well, this is a recording that will get Nick reinstated. Okay, we have it, right? In this case, we're gonna notice that we have get. We're gonna focus only in the first part, right? Final part, sorry, right? So okay, so we have get, Nick, and we have reinstated, right? Okay, so we can choose, right? We could have get, and we could have the verb. Okay, have, right? Then we have Nick, is the person who is going to do the service, right? Or is causing someone else to do it. And then we have the verb in its participle form, right? So I'm gonna show you some exercises. For example, if I'm gonna write, I have, or I get my hair cut. Okay, this is the passive causative. Why? I require a service, right? So it was like my hair was terrible and now I need someone else to cut my hair. So I'm gonna do it easily, right? What does it mean I get my hair cut? It means that I pay to another person to cut my hair, right? So it was a purpose that I had, right? I didn't do it. I didn't take the razors and I cut my hair. No, right? I paid someone else to do it, right? So I get my hair cut. Or how about this sentence? I cut my nails done. Okay, I have my nails done. What does it mean? I paid to this girl, to this girl Maria, right? To paint my nails, to cut it, right? To do the whole service, right? But I paid her. I didn't do anything, right? So it was a service that I required. Okay, so it's not, we don't have anything about us, right? I didn't take the nail polish and then I painted. No, right? I pay to this girl in order to get or to have my nails done. Okay, it is about a service that I have. Do you have any question? Maybe is it clear?
Miss, I have internet problems, so in some parts I didn't hear you well, so I didn't understand.
Okay, so I'm gonna repeat it again, right? This passive causative, it's not a time tense because it's not part of the time, but it's a grammar explanation. We're gonna use this structure, this lesson, to talk about services that another person does for us. For example, I wrote this example. I have my nails done, right? I have my nails done. Okay. So as you can see, we're gonna look in point number 3, the structure, right? But I need you to understand this example. So I went to this girl who always make my nails, sorry. So I pay her in order to pay my nails, maybe, and do the whole service, right? To cut my nails, right? To paint it, and then, right? So I pay her, right? Maybe we're gonna suppose, right? $5, for example, right? It's an example. But it's a service that I require, right? It's not about me. It's not like, okay, I know that sometimes we actually do it, but it's not like, okay, my nails are terrible, so I'm gonna paint it, right? So I'm gonna buy the nail polish and then I'm gonna paint my nails, right? That's something that I do by myself, right? When we're gonna use the passive causative, we focus on the receiver of the action. Who is going to receive the action? My nails, right? This is my object, okay? And another person is gonna do it for me, right? This is the passive causative. In general, we're gonna learn the structure now, but it is the use of it. I don't know if you have any question.
No, Miss, it's okay.
All right, thank you. Now we're going to continue with the third point.
We form the passive causative with have or get, plus a direct object, plus the past participle of the verb. Talia gets her hair done at Fausto's hair salon. Or
Talia has her hair done at Fausto's hair salon.
these two sentences have the same meaning.
Okay, there's no difference at all. between get and have, right? You can actually use both, right? The meaning is going to be the same. We're gonna learn, there is a subtle difference, right? And it's about the causative verbs, but we're not gonna look for this lesson right now, right? I'm gonna explain you then because we have a whole lesson for the causative verbs. These get and have are causative verbs. What does it mean? That are gonna cause something on someone, right? Okay, let's talk about the structure of the passive causative. We're gonna use the verb have or get. We're using in third person, right? This is a simple present tense, okay? So as I'm talking in third person, I'm gonna add an is to the end of the word, right? Then her, what does it mean? The direct object. And then we're gonna continue with the past participle of the verb. As you can see, the name is the passive. What does it mean? The passive is this object who receives the action. We focus on the receiver of an action. That's the reason of why we place it at the middle between the verb, the causative verb get or have, and the verb in its participle form, right? Talia gets her hair done at Pasa's hair salon. What does it mean? That Talia goes to the salon and she pays $50, right? In order to have it painted, I don't know, right? All the services that she is going to require. It's a service again, right? We focus on the receiver. The receiver, I mean, the object, the direct object of our sentence is her. Talia has her hair done at Fausto's hair salon, right? These both sentences have the same meaning. Don't forget the structure. Have or get, the direct object. How are you going to identify it? Because it's the object who is going to receive the action. What action? The participle one, right? Done. Talia gets her what? Done, right? So yes, do you have any question about point number 3? Nicole?
Yes, Miss.
Is there any question maybe?
No.
All right, thank you. And let's continue with point number 4.
We use the passive causative with all tenses and with modals. John has his car inspected every year.
He's gotten it done at the same place since he bought it.
He had it inspected last week.
He's gonna get it painted next week.
He might have the tires replaced also.
Okay, so in this point, as I told you, right, this is not a time tense. No es un tiempo verbal. ¿Qué quiere decir? Que no vamos a utilizar solo para el pasado o presente o futuro. Podemos utilizar con cualquier tiempo verbal que tú veas conveniente dependiendo tu contexto. So you can use this you can use this passive causative in all the time tenses because it's not a time tense, right? It's a structure that we use for some situations and it's up to the context for sure. If I'm going to explain something right now, I'm going to use it in the present. And I could use the present perfect. John has his car inspected every day by the mechanic, for example. He has gotten it done at the same place since he bought it, present perfect. He had it inspected last week, simple past. He's going to get it painted by the mechanic, right, next week. More than the time tenses and then, I want you to focus in the meaning, right? As you can see, everything is about services, right? John has his car inspected every year. John didn't study something about the cars and mechanic, right? Or something like that, right? So that's the reasons of why he has to pay to the mechanic in order to car his car inspected, right? But it's not about him, right? No, John tiene que pagar a alguien más para que haga el servicio de inspeccionar su auto. Porque él no ha estudiado, no es mecánico, entonces es un servicio que solicita tal vez a otra persona, al mecánico, para que pueda verificar que todo está bien, pero no es acerca de John. John está agarrando un martillo, un destornillador, no sé, cosas que se pueden utilizar para el auto, y él no está revisando por sí solo, por sí mismo, ¿ok? He isn't doing the action by himself. He's paying another person, in this case, the mechanic, so he has to do it, right? Entonces es muy notorio, ¿ok? No, claro que no nos enfocamos en quién recibe la acción. ¿Quién va a recibir la acción? ¿Qué va a ser inspeccionado? El auto, right? ¿O qué está siendo inspeccionado? El auto, right? Yo no es el objeto va al medio y es el auto, es este objeto que va a recibir la acción. ¿Qué acción? El que está el participio. John has his car inspected every year, right? Who is the object, or what is the object in this case? His car, right? What is going to happen with the car? It is going to be inspected, right? Incluso cuando digo it's going to be inspected, it means that another person is going to do it for John. So, do you have any question about point number 4?
No, miss, not really.
Okay, let's continue. And we're gonna finish with point number 5.
We use by when we mention the person doing the service. We only mention the person doing the service when it provides important information.
Amy is getting her hair cut by the best hairdresser in town.
Okay. So, I guess it's okay, yes. We have the use of by. We're gonna place it at the end of the sentence, right? We're gonna use by to mention, right? When we mention the person during the service, right? Cuando vamos a mencionar quién ha hecho el servicio o quién lo está haciendo, quién lo hará, dependiendo del tiempo verbal, por supuesto. Vamos a utilizar by al final de la oración. Entonces, ¿cuándo vamos a hacerlo? Cuando sea necesario. Es decir, cuando contenga información relevante, right? O sea, información súper importante, lo vamos a hacer. Cuando no, no es necesario. I have my nails done, right? No es necesario que mencione quién le eche las uñas porque no es una información relevante, right? Y lo mismo sucede en castellano. No vamos y decimos, me hice hacer las uñas por la señora que hace las uñas, ¿okay? Es información que está de más. Pero cuando sea necesario, cuando sea información importante, when it's going to be important information, we're going to use by the best hairdresser in town. Amy's getting her hair cut by the best hairdresser in the town. So the best dresser in town it's an important information. So then we're gonna use it. For that reason, we're gonna use by. This is incorrect by a hairdresser. Why? Because it's not important. We actually know that a hairdresser, it's her job, right? So why I'm gonna mention it if it's not important, right? So I don't know, Amy's getting her hair cut by Emma Watson, for example, right? It's important information, so I'm gonna do it. If it's not, it's unnecessary, so don't worry. So that will be everything about the passive causative. Do you have any question?
No, miss.
Oh, that's great. So we're gonna finish with the first practice. Nicole, can we please finish the class as soon as we finish the first exercise? I have to go
It's
to the
okay.
university, so I don't know if you have any problem with it.
No, miss.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for understanding. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Once you can see it, please let me know.
I see.
Okay, can you please read the instruction?
Drag and drop each word into the correct place on the line.
Okay, number 1.
Things I had it cut yesterday.
Okay. Oh, can you repeat it, please?
Yes, ay, no veo. Things I had.
The object?
I had cut it yesterday.
Oh, again?
I had it cut yesterday.
Okay, I know it's at the beginning, right? It sounds weird, the structure, right? The structure looks like it doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense, but it's okay, right? Don't forget the object goes in the middle, right? In this case, we're talking about the hair, right? So I had it cut yesterday, right? We focus on the receiver of an action. In this case, is the hair. Let's continue with point number 2. Did you get proof?
Yes. This recording will get me clear.
Will, sorry?
Get me clear. I'm
Okay.
going to buy a new TV today. Do you need help getting it home? No? Oh, that's okay. I'll have it delivered.
Yes, delivered. Okay.
How did Talia know that the first audio was phony? She thought it examined by an expert.
Great.
The dishwasher is broken again. Oh no, we had it repaired twice this year. It may be to buy new out. It may be time to buy a new one.
Okay, great.
Your car always looks new. Do you get it washed every week? Yes, I take it to the car wash on the 3rd Avenue.
Great. Let's submit. And it was great. Congrats, right? Everything was great. As you've seen, it's part of, you have to know the structure, right? So it's not that difficult, right? It's a matter of practice, so then the rest is gonna be automatically, right? You're gonna recognize. So, do you have any question?
No, miss.
Okay, that's great. So, okay, so we're gonna stop until this part, please, right? Do you have any question about the lesson?
No.
Okay, that's great. So that will be everything for today. Nicole, I'm gonna launch 2 polls, right? The first one is the daily poll. Once it's done, please let me know.
It's done, miss.
Okay. I'm gonna launch the second poll. Once you can see it, please fill it and let me know when it's done.
It's done.
Great. So that will be everything for today, Nicole. If you have any question about the homework, something related to the class, or in general, just let me know, right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Nicole. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a great time in family. And I'm going to see you on Tuesday, right?
Okay, me. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas for you too.
Thank you, Nicole. Bye-bye.
Bye.